Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Chris. My name is Chris Speary. As always, I appreciate everybody who spends a little bit of their morning with me and takes an opportunity to jumpstart their day with something good, something better than whatever's happening in the world today, better than whatever is going on in the world of politics, in the world of public health. I know the world's a crazy place right now, but at the end of the day, you still have a responsibility, I believe, to yourself to focus on what's good in the world, focus on what's positive, because you only really get one go around at this. And if you get the opportunity, it's worth spending the time to make this pass through life a happy one. And personally, happiness is my pursuit. And I'm not a guru, I'm not some shaman, I'm not going to tell you what the secrets of life are, but I will say that as a guy making his way through life, making his way into early adulthood, kind of starting to realize that my life is this amalgamation of all my amalgam of all my decisions that I make up until this point, all my choices. I feel like making the choice to be happy and live a happy life is worthy. That feels like a worthy pursuit. And in doing that, and making the decision and making the choice to focus in on what makes me happy, I've started to learn what makes me unhappy. And they're really simple. They're simple things, and they're things that I've lived with my whole life without realizing how unhappy they made me and how attached to those things I was. And ultimately, they boil down into two categories. The things that make me personally unhappy, whether this is you or not, maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can't, but for me, there's two categories. It's disappointing others and disappointing myself. Those are the two things that I've found in my life that if I boil down an unhappiness or something that brought me some degree of unhappiness in my life, they likely stem from those two categories. And here's what I mean by disappointing others. I made a commitment when I married my wife, when I decided that we were going to have as many children as we have, to support my family. And that isn't to say that she isn't there to provide support in her own way. She is. She has an incredible list of responsibilities and duties that I can't even begin to tackle. But financially, I made a commitment to support my family. Whether that's you and your relationship, or it's your spouse, or both of you bear that commitment, it's a big one. And it would be selfish of me, as the person who made that commitment in my relationship to my family, not to pursue success. So not focusing on what's positive, not focusing on what makes me happy, not being a happy, successful person as in my mind and how I behave first is irresponsible. It's letting down the people who I care most, who I care about most, and not fulfilling my commitment to them. And also, when I say I disappoint others, I'm also talking about lowering the bar. If I don't live up to a commitment I made or a promise I made, either to myself or to another person, I'm lowering the bar. Disappointing others doesn't have anything to do with, or as much to do with how you are now perceived by someone else, the person you're disappointing. Instead, that you are now lowering the bar across the board. Your disappointment, your letdown, the things that you let happen because you just didn't feel like it, doesn't just stay with you. They aren't just your mistakes. They trickle around and they spread around your community, around to the people you love, the ones that are closest to you. They're the ones who are most impacted by your disappointments, by the things that you let slip through the cracks. And so by accepting less from yourself and letting others accept less from you, you are setting an example. You are lowering the bar. And I realized that was about myself, was if I'm not pursuing and if I'm not living up to the commitments I'm making 100%, then I'm lowering the bar. I'm telling my kids, my wife, my friends, my family, my coworkers, my neighbors that 90% is okay. 80% is okay. You know, if you say you're going to do something, if you do half of it, that's fine. If you do none of it, if you don't feel like it, no big deal, okay. And that's not the person that I want to be. That's not the people I want my family to be, my kids to be. It's not the people I want to surround myself with. So if I'm going to live a happy life, I need to ensure that I am not disappointing others, or I will spread like an infection the disappointments of my own life, my letdowns, my challenges. If you're a person who feels like you're in a rut right now, maybe consider how the things that you let slip through the cracks ultimately led to your environment being one with lower bars, with lower standards, and that's created a lower quality of life. But then realize that just because that's where you are doesn't mean that you can't create now the opposite effect. And for me, disappointing others creates, I consider myself a very empathetic person. I absorb the emotions of the people around me. I feel them like they're my own, which can be nice when I want to communicate and relate with people, but honestly, it's painful whenever I deal with someone who's going through something crucial and hard in their life and is maybe not approaching it with the best mindset. It creates very little patience for me because it's not the way I personally want to feel. But I understand that by letting someone else down, that they've now lost respect for me. That if I sit here and say all the good things about what I do, what I want to do with my life, and the things that I do to keep myself happy, and then I go home and I can't snap out of a funk for my kids or my wife to spend time with them, then I'm ultimately making, I'm losing my wife's respect, I'm losing my kids' respect, my family, my coworkers, my peers, anybody who I don't show my best self to is ultimately going to lose respect for me over time. I can't sit here and tell you that I'm, living this extravagant life of happiness and positivity everywhere I go. I'm practically a yogi. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying is that I must make a concentrated effort to the best of my abilities every day to live up to my word. If I'm saying it, it's happening. And maybe it's not happening to the best that it could be done, but it's going to be done to the best of my ability no matter what. And if that means that I'm not as good at shaking off a funk or fixing a bad mood or focusing on what's good about my situation, then first thing, my wife's going to call me out on it. I'm not going to get very far along with that. She's going to tell me, hey, you're being a little bit of a jerk to the kids today, and I think it's your own mood. You need to get out of your own way and fix it. That's one of the reasons why I married her, is because she has absolutely no problem telling me that, and I'd rather her come out and tell me exactly what's going on with her day, because then that helps me adjust. But two, if you're constantly the person that says all the things that you're going to do and then does none of them, eventually when you're ready, when you've evolved, when you become better at failing forward and letting yourself down and others down less, no one's going to take you seriously. And then you have to dig yourself back up out of that hole. So if that's where you are today, start digging out. And if you're not there yet, don't even let yourself get into it. Start by pushing positively. There's my wife right there. I love you, honey. And push towards doing what you say. Embrace things that make your life better and live up to those commitments. Now, disappointing myself is probably at its root what causes the most amount of dreariness, of glum in my life. It's the days that I mope around the house that I am most disappointed in myself. Whether that's because I've lost track of time. Today was a great example. I set my alarm for 6 a.m., but 7:30 sounded sweeter, and ended up with a long list of things that I needed to get done that I still had to. As such, I'm here, I'm later for work than I'd want to be. I lost track of time, and ultimately that caused a little bit of disappointment in myself. But fortunately, now I have it so razored in that, I'm still here. I haven't let it derail my day. I haven't become so disappointed in myself that I'm not capable of getting right back on the horse and living up to the commitments as the best of my ability given the circumstances. Just because I messed up already one time today doesn't mean I need to continue to mess up. Whereas in the past, when I've lost track of time, it compounds. Oh man, I wasn't able to go to the gym today. Well, that means that I gotta go run these couple other errands. I'm not gonna have time to go home and cook either. Fast food it is. I'm not gonna be able to go to the gym or anything else, and it's just gonna be this rolling effect that continues to get worse and worse over time as I let it, and ultimately losing track of time is irresponsibility to myself because I leave life unlived. If there are things that I want to do, by not staying disciplined to a schedule, I don't get to do those things. The things that I have to do may get left undone, but most importantly, the things that I want to do may get left undone. So by prioritizing the two and respecting my time and making sure that I am where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, I don't leave any moments of my life unlived. And this morning, I made up for it. I realized I woke up late. I got some of my have-to-dos done, brushed my teeth, brushed my hair, got back in bed with my wife, and I said, I have 5 minutes to cuddle with you because I'm already late, but I want 5 extra minutes of my life this morning before I get to my commitments. I got it, embraced it, and now here I am. I got into work as quickly as I could, and I didn't let losing a little bit of track of time this morning completely disrupt my whole day, so I won't let losing track of time be a part of the rest of my day. It was only a part of my morning. Now, one of the other things that constantly causes some level of self-disappointment, and it's not always my fault, when the gyms were closed and COVID had really shut down the world, at the beginning, before I had realized how to be resourceful with my time, energy, and surroundings to find exercise, not exercising was very, very disappointing isn't the right word. It was depressing. It was depressing not getting out, being able to get out and move my body, see people ruin and kind of like disrupt that routine. And I missed out. What happens when I don't work out is I feel like I'm missing out on short-term and long-term benefits. I don't get this short-term boost or high. For anybody that's an avid, physical person, someone who's either into running or jogging or jiu-jitsu, martial arts, whatever your thing is, whatever your preferred exercise is, you understand the high that you get from pushing yourself, from breaking a sweat, from doing something physical is incomparable, and it sets momentum to your day that really nothing else can in such a short amount of time. The bang for your buck, the investment of time and pain that goes into physical exercise is so well rewarded through the rest of your day. It changes the way you feel about food. It changes your relationship with your body. It changes your relationship with your spouse to get out and do some physical exercise and break a sweat. And those short-term benefits are just one of the few. A longer life, a healthier life, a longer health span. Having the opportunity to see, especially if you're still in your youth, and trust me, most of you that wouldn't consider yourself youth are still there. There are people who I train with who have found the best beauty that their body is able to achieve in their 50s and 60s. So if you think you're too old to start pursuing what your body is capable of, you're just absolutely incorrect. Just understand that if you haven't made a significant muscle contraction since the 80s, then you probably need to start slow, but you need to start. You need to start. Because you're missing out on even some of the short-term benefits. Maybe you feel like starting working out in your 40s, 50s, 60s isn't going to extend your life another 20 years. No, but it might expand the quality of your life by 5 to 10. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen loved ones, close family members, friends of friends that have let themselves get into a state where it almost feels like at this point, I couldn't put a dent in my health. So I may as well just keep it the way I'm going. I'm comfortable, I'm healthy enough. I'll just deal with it later. And you lose the opportunity to grow and see what your body is capable of. The only chance you'll get is this one. So don't put it off to the side. Don't disappoint yourself in that way, because even if you don't feel like seeing the level of fitness your body can achieve in one lifetime is a worthy pursuit, I promise you that at the end of the day, it's going to be a disappointment that you carry. And outside of that, when I disappoint myself, I'm not making my best effort. Not showing up, not making my phone calls, not making my commitments, not showing up to the gym and pushing myself, not being the best competitor or the best opponent when I'm training with someone. I ultimately write my own story every day. And when I lower that bar, when I'm less than my best self, I'm less than my best self, not just for me, but for others. And most importantly, when I'm not my best self for me, then I'm creating the story behind who I am. I'm constantly rewriting this novel of my life. And in this novel, I believe that you, who you are behind your eyes, should be the hero of your own story. And if you aren't, if you're letting someone else be the hero, or worse yet, you're the antagonist, then you're doing a disservice to yourself that's constantly going to bring your life down and bring the life of others around you down. If you're not being your best self at work, then your peers accept that it's okay to not be your best self. If you show up to the gym and you train against an opponent, if you're a martial artist and you don't give your best effort, you're not just robbing yourself of good exercise, training, and a learning opportunity, you're robbing someone else of that good exercise, training, and learning opportunity. So don't rob yourself, because when you do, you rob others. Don't rob yourself of opportunities to be the best you can be, because you take from your life. You take from others' lives. It's a selfish thing to do. It's selfless to constantly pursue every opportunity you have with positivity and the mindset that you are going to give your best, even if it hurts, even if it's painful, even if it's emotional, even if it's uncomfortable, that you will always be your best self no matter where you are. One of my early mentors in real estate, Dennis Tuttle at Keller Williams, would say, how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. In this moment, wherever you are right now, if you're in the car, if you're behind a desk, if you're on a job site, if you're in a plane, wherever you are, if you're in the bathroom, how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. So think about that today. Change how you show up in the next moment and make your life a little bit more positive, because happiness, or whatever your pursuit in life is, it doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with a job. It doesn't start with perfect health. Those are byproducts of the choices that you make, of your own brain making the decisions that push your life into better, happier, more positive, healthy places. So it's your brain inside of you right now that you have that's capable of making the decision to get up off your butt and make the choices that make your life better today. And more importantly, what you already have inside of you, the choices that you make are part of you. You're behind that story. You are the hero of your own story. So that hero needs to make the decision today to get you 1% better, one step closer to being your best self, because that's where happiness is. Happiness and the pursuit that you have for success isn't external, it's internal. It comes from self-development, from self-growing. Jim Rohn says that a man or woman's income does not far exceed their level of personal development. And it's not just income, it's wealth, emotional wealth, relational wealth, personal wealth, financial wealth, all come from a level of self-development. Some people are naturally there further along, and others have a longer journey to go. But starting with messages like this, reading the right books, listening to the right things, my coach calls them mental vitamins. This is designed to be a mental vitamin. It's designed to put a little bit of good in your head so that your head can eat on some good stuff and hopefully have an appetite for more. Push yourself today. Find the opportunity to love as many people as you can. Make your community and your environment better by raising your own bar. And I really appreciate everybody for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Coffee with Chris. Thanks, guys.